Stone. He said, if you got any sense, you would push your book aside and finish this. And then I thought about it. I said, on second thought, I would love to do it, but I got to be honest with you, Ms. Stone, I'm dead broke. I mean, if you knew the nonsense that I have been through, I mean, you would just cry. And it would have been so easy for him to pull out his checkbook from his coat pocket and write me a check for $100,000 and say, young man, go ahead and do what you got to do. But he didn't. And thank God, may the meditations of my heart, listen, I thank God every day that he didn't do it, because I can travel from New York to California. I can go overseas, and I've been everywhere from Singapore to Reykjavik, Iceland, brother. And I can look anybody in the eye. And the only reason why anybody will come out to hear what I have to say, number one, they read one of my books. And they want to know, hey, can he articulate the books as well as it's written? Or number two, yeah, Dennis, it worked for you, but will it work for me? That's the only reason. And I am so glad that he did that. Whatever you do, don't play it safe. Don't do things the way they've been done. Keep your entrepreneurial spirit alive. This is about wealth. And what the hell do we know about Howard Schultz? What do we know about Howard Schultz? Here's a guy selling Xerox office equipment on the streets of New York when he got his epiphany, when he got his aha moment for Starbucks. Took his last dime, hired 10 consultants to review his business plan. And down to the 10th consultant, all of them said, don't do it. You're going to lose your shirt. Sometimes it's risky not to take a risk. Did you know that? Sometimes you're going to create wealth. Sometimes it's risky not to take risks. You must be certain in uncertain times. And where are you going to be certain? In your mind's eye. You got to have a vision. Everything happens to you twice in life. First the inner, then the outer. First the thought, then the thing. First the mental, and then the physical. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. What does that mean? Well, Pastor, what does it mean? Well, black folks have been last all these years. One day will be first. Slick, it doesn't mean that. What it does mean that we operate out of an MO that says, I won't believe it till I see the physical. Until I see the physical, I'm not going to believe it. But what does the good book say? The physical that you have first, put last. And the mental you have last, put first. Sometimes it's risky not to take a risk. Last time I taught my MBAs, I always taught the Bill Gates case. What do we know about Bill Gates? And I don't care, some say he dropped out of Harvard after the first year. Some said he made it to his junior year. But one thing we do know, that he walked into Harvard Square, walked into the bookstore, and he and Paul Allen, who worked at Honeywell at night, worked going part-time at Harvard. They gravitate to the magazine section, and they see when Electronics magazine is throwing out a challenge for anybody who can come up with an operating system that will allow two computers to talk. And what does he do? He immediately drops out of Harvard, goes to the desert for the next 7 years of his life. New Mexico. 7 years Bill Gates got his hand spanked. 7 years he got his teeth kicked out. 7 years, that refining period. Something magical about those 7 years. You know, the average millionaire doesn't get his or her dream to age 45, doesn't become a millionaire to age 52. Average millionaire dibs and dabbles in 17 different businesses, concepts, money-making schemes, doesn't hit it big to the 18th try. After 7 years, he comes up with his Windows desktop environment that would finally allow two computers to talk. And what's the first thing an impressionable William F. Gates with his $45 billion do? What the hell is $45 billion? You do the calculus. That's $67,000 a second. He picks up the phone and he calls the president of Encyclopedia Britannica. He says, sir, you don't know me. My name is William F. Gates. For the last 7 years, me and my team have been here in New Mexico. We're coming out with an operating system that would allow two computers to talk. And if you get on our desktop, I know you never heard that word, new jargon in the industry. If you get on our desktop, you can sell all the Encyclopedia Britannicas you want for $10 a pop. What does the CEO of Encyclopedia Britannica tell a young, impressionable Bill Gates? Young man, are you out of your mind? $10 a pop, we're not number one in the United States. We're number one across the globe. And we sell our books $1,000 a set. I suggest you call somebody else, click, and hangs up on Bill Gates. True story. A few minutes goes by. Bill Gates dusts off his low self-image. And this time he comes up with the courage to make a second phone call. And who does he call? Encarta, the president of Encarta. And to this day, Encyclopedia Britannica can't even give their books away. So don't play it safe, Howard Schultz. Oh my God. By the time I was 17, I was working in radio, earning $100 a week. I would have done it for free. Well, MBAs, what would you do for free? Baby, you got to find your area of excellence. You're going to create wealth. You got to ask yourself 3 critical questions. Number 1, what do I love to do? What do I have a passion for? What can I throw my whole heart and soul into? Question number 2, what would I do for free if no one ever gave me a dime? If no one ever gave me a financial reward for my efforts, what would I do for free? Because when you're doing what you love to do and you would do it for free, your work is your play. And if your work is your play, you'll never work a day in your life. You think I'm here speaking to the Dallas chapter MBAs? No. I'm back at CAU. I'm a Tuesday, Thursday guy. I wouldn't leave. I had to teach class today, so y'all really getting it out of me today. I will sleep well tonight. They always ask, man, did he roll them sleeves up? No, come on in, bro. Come on in. There is no greater calling you can give. A career is what you're paid for, but a calling is what you're made for. And what do you know about Oprah Winfrey? Big bad Oprah from Dirt Road, Mississippi, to $2.7 billion net worth, scared to death of banks, hates the stock market. You know Oprah can't even read a financial statement and she's a billionaire? At one time in her life, she was scared to death of banks. She hoarded $50 million on a person. How are you going to do that? And the Oprah show, her Oprah show was not her gift. She's doing well with the Oprah show. 30 million viewers. But she let others run the Oprah show. It's the O magazine, that's her baby. She reads every page, every paragraph, every sentence, every word, every punctuation mark she slaves over. And who are the top brands that she goes over? I mean, what, 2 million subscribers? And look at the net worth of the average subscriber, $63,000 a year. Who are her main brands? Who's number 1? Number 1 is Coach. Number 2 is Lexus. Number 3 is Donna Karan. And we know about Donna Karan. Donna Karan is owned by Chanel, and who owns Chanel? Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. But the bottom line, if Oprah can do it, you can do it. Oh my God. I was watching the interview with Steve Jobs the other day, and what he said, in order to be doing something like this, you really got to like what you're doing, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Who the hell's Mark Zuckerberg? He's the youngest billionaire. At last count, 13 billion. And by the way, since he chased his dream, he created 6 other billionaires. Almost like Bob Johnson and BET. When he took that lunge, when he took that challenge for BET, he created 8 other millionaires. He's another Harvardite. Baby, if you haven't read Thomas Friedman, The World is Flat, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time. The world is flat. And let me throw the second punch. If you don't take the time to read, to study, to grow, why is it important that you're here tonight? To hear me speak? Hell no. The reason why you're here, because you need to meet the person seated in front of you, behind you, to your left and your right. Networking is the critical skill. If you don't take the time to work on your growth and development, take in the information. What are you talking about, Dr. K? Oh yeah, my students at CAU, them girls, they got the little attitude. Because we live and have our being in a capitalistic society. Capitalism is not a dirty word. Capitalism means everything is for sale. That's all it means. But you take the word capitalism, write it on a piece of paper, C-A-P-I-T-A-L-I-S-M, take the Latin derivative of the word capitalism, kaput, C-A-P-U-T. What does it mean in Latin? It means head. The world is flat. The days are gone when, listen, your competitors all around you. Your competitors in China. Your competitors in East Asia. This world is flat. You say you want diversity? You got it. You got it. 2008, Mark Zuckerberg from Harvard. What do we know about Harvard? In 2008, 3 years ago, 27,000 students applied to Harvard. 27,000 high school seniors applied to Harvard. Of those 27,000, 3,300 were number 1 in their class. Of the 27,000, 3,300 were number 1 in the class. 3,100 aced the SAT. And Harvard still rejected 97 out of every 100. Only accepted 3 out of every 100. Of the 27,000, Harvard only accepted 1,500. Rewind the videotape 6 years. 6 years. 2005. What the hell happened in 2005, Dr. K? Well, I'm about to tell you. There were more than 3,000 African-American males who aced the SAT. And of those 3,000 who aced the SAT, 99.9%, they didn't all apply to Morehouse, but they told Educational Testing Service Morehouse would be one of the schools you will send my scores to. So where are the other 97 that got rejected? They are all around you. They are all around you. If you don't take the time to grow, to develop, and take in the information, somebody else will. And the day you meet that other person, you lose. You lose. Because this is an information-driven society. We don't live in a society that is divided between rich versus poor, black versus white, liberal conservative, Republican Democrat, male versus female. Hell no. But we do live in a society that is divided between dreamer versus non-dreamer. People get in trouble in life not because they wanted too much. You get in trouble in life because you settled for too little. The poor, how do the poor keep score? The poor keep score by clothes and cars. How does the middle class keep score? By degrees and titles. How do the wealthy keep score? By the bank account. That's the society that we live in. Bang, John Hope. Oh my God. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. Being broke is a temporary economic condition. You must vow never, ever, ever, never. Sorry, Miss Jackson. Never, ever, never, ever to be poor. And what's the demographic of Rhythm Nation? African Americans. 27% of my race, my people, my culture, spend more on a weekly basis than what they bring in. 31% of African Americans, no savings plan at all. 40% of Rhythm Nation, unbanked. Don't even use a bank for the financial transactions. In other words, they're going to the post office with money orders. Now, ordinarily, that would not be a problem. Unless you got a child that you hope one day to send to college and you got to apply FAFSA, all that, student loan, and you got zero credit. Zero credit. So I hope we're here at the Cox School, and I am so honored to be here. But man, Clifton, man, let's take this the extra mile. Let's talk to the Cox School. Let's go to the finance department. Let's go to economics department. And let's put a symposium where these area banks can come in here and go into the community to go ahead and get us from unbanked to bank. Never would have made it. Never would without you. The millionaires that I interviewed, you can see this is all coming from have versus have not. This is the only second time I've given this lecture. For the last 7 years, I've been working on my book. It's in negotiation now with publishers. 7-year study on black millionaires. No athletes, no entertainers, no celebrities. I used a 118-question survey. I can tell you anything and everything you want to know about a black millionaire, and one of them, deep-seated spiritual beliefs. I did not say religion. Black males, all right, they give 10 to 15% of their earnings to charity. Black females, and as you know, 19% are women. How many black millionaires in the United States? You don't even know, 35,000. When Tom Stanley wrote The Millionaire Next Door, he used 3 primary sources of data. He used U.S. Trust Survey, Census Bureau, and IRS. His second year into the research, he contacts the Census Bureau, and the Census Bureau told Tom Stanley, Georgia State marketing professor, not only how many white millionaires in the United States, but they gave Tom Stanley the zip codes. He wrote a 247-question survey, and based upon the zip codes, stuffed mailboxes. Unbelievable response rate back. I didn't have a phone call with the Census Bureau. I went down to the regional office on Peachtree Street trying to ascertain, forget zip codes. They couldn't even tell me how many black millionaires in the United States until I found out from the Fed, walked in the Fed, 35,000. When Martin Luther King led the Montgomery bus boycott, there were only 5 black millionaires in the United States. There are 35,000. You want to be in the top 5% of black America, earn $250,000 or more. You want to be in the top 5% of white America, $3.1 million. So baby doll, we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to do. There are 175 countries that belong to the United Nations, and you are 9 from the top in terms of your wealth. Your problem isn't, earning money. Your problem is what you do with your money. That's your problem. Your problem is your spending habits. That's the problem. We were 13% of the population. Now we're down to 12. We're 12% of the population, and we buy 30% of all Pampers, salt, pasta, toothpaste, household detergents. We're 12% of the population. We buy 1 out of every 5 color television sets. Black males, you are 6% of the population. You damn near buy 1 out of every 4 pair of shoes that Nike manufactures. Oh, sisters, black women, I'm going to step on your toes. If I were you, I wouldn't be laughing. But in my class, I always call them daughter. Daughter, come here, daughter. Let me hug and kiss your daughter. It's going to be all right. It's going to be right. You are 6% of the population. You buy 25% of all cologne and shoes manufactured in the United States. What do we know about Marvin Sapp? Oh, my God. Grand Rapids, Michigan. When did he write those words? When he just put his father in that cold, brown earth. Coming back from that internment, in the back of that limousine, wrote those words, but he didn't lean on them. He didn't lean on them until he placed his wife in that same brown earth. Deep-seated spiritual beliefs. There's a power, there's a force that you got to be able to tap into that knows everything about you. Jonathan Living Seagull, no one is an island. You don't do this by yourself. Where in the world do you think ideas come from? An idea comes from your creator knocking on your subconscious, asking you, do you want more out of life? And you got to be able to tap in to that source. Don Cheadle, why be bold? The Urge to Live a Life meeting is one of our elementary. Who the hell is Don Cheadle? You got less than 30 actors and actresses in Hollywood who earn $1 million or more for a movie. Don Cheadle is one. You see him in Iron Man 2? He earned $1.5 million for that part. Started acting at age 10. What were you doing at age 10? All these works that I do, he will do also no greater works than the John. That's the motivational, listen, that's the motivational gospel. He will do. You are here for a purpose. And again, I am not talking about religion. I am talking about success. What are the 2 greatest days of your life? Number 1, the day you were born, right? But number 2, the day you know why. And you're only here to make a difference. Number 1, you want to make a difference. Number 2, you want to make a difference with others who want to make a difference. Number 3, you want to make a difference with others who make a difference doing something that makes a difference. But number 4, you want to make a difference with others who want to make a difference doing something that makes a difference at a time when it makes all the difference in the world. So what's so different and unique about you? That's why you were hired in corporate America. The average interview in corporate America is only 45 minutes long. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to throw the first punch by asking 2 questions. 97% of the time, the first question they're going to ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself. But 65% of the time, the second question they're going to ask you is, so what's so different and unique about you? Corporate America only wants 3 things. Number 1, they want to know your talent, your background, your range of experiences. Number 2, what do you bring to the table? Again, what's so different and unique about you? And number 3, your commitment to the bottom line. In New York Life and Comerica, have we got any managers in here in HR, in the interviewing process? Don't you ever interview anybody with asking the 3 critical questions. Why this organization? Why Comerica? Why New York Life? Why the Cox School of Business? Number 2, again, tell me about your talent, your range of experience. But the 3rd question is the entrepreneurial-driven question. Michael Porter, Harvard Business School. You got the candidate in front of you. If I let you leave, if I let you get out of this seat, go across the street, Comerica, and work for my competitor, what will we miss? Clark Atlanta School of Business, you don't hire me? Baby, you're missing a lot. I don't think you want to do that. Always seems impossible till it's done. There's two types of faith, faith in self and faith in others. You see with your mind's eye because your physical eye will lie to you. You doubt me? Fly with me when we go back to Georgia. Let's go to Savannah and let's look across the Atlantic Ocean. You will say, gee, Doc, it looks like the sky and the water meet. Well, the sky and the water will never meet, otherwise there's no such thing as gravity. Let's stand on some railroad tracks and let's look down the train tracks. Dr. Kimbro, it looks like the tracks are coming together. Well, the tracks never come together, otherwise the train would fall off the tracks. Those are two examples of your physical eye lying to you. So when you get that dream, when you get that vision, you see with your mind's eye. And you believe in yourself when no one else will. I want you to be like Sammy. Sammy is 8 years old in the 3rd grade painting a picture at his desk. And the teacher comes by and says, Sammy, what are you doing? Sammy says, I'm painting a picture of God. The teacher says, well, no one knows what God looks like. Sammy says, they will in a minute. You believe in yourself. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Stay hungry, stay foolish. What's the first assignment my students receive? First assignment, they have got to analyze Steve Jobs' commencement address to Stanford Business School. 4 things I want to tell you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. What the hell do we know about Steve Jobs? 1 semester, Reed College. 1 semester, Reed College. Why in God's name did he drop out of college? You want to know why? Because they wouldn't let him take a calligraphy class. It's not one of the prereqs. It's not in the catalog. I'm sorry, you can't take it. How come I can't take it? Well, you won't get credit for it. He drops out of Reed College. Comes back in the spring semester and sits in on that calligraphy class. Now, why was it so important that Jobs is in there in that calligraphy class? Because it was in that calligraphy class that he got the idea for Apple Computer, the different fonts. Stay hungry, stay foolish. So do you have the idea? Are you innovative? Are you creative? Those are 2 qualities that you've got to have today if you're going to compete in an entrepreneur-driven economy. You got to be creative. I was creative this morning. I'm in the shower, 50 million ideas going through my mind. I got my pad, I write them down, blah, blah, blah. I want to do this, I want to do this with my kids. I want to call this corporate partner, get in and speak to my kids and blah, blah, blah. Creative. You got to be able to see down the street. You got to be able to spot a trend. But baby, you also got to be innovative. And what is innovation? The ability to execute that idea. And what is innovation? It's one thing to spot a trend, but can you anticipate a trend? Because I interviewed Damon John of FUBU, brother, and I don't think that you want to go through what he went through. And I interviewed the boys from Essence Magazine. These works and this great he will do also. Because sooner or later, you got to place it on the line. You want to create wealth? Damon John told me that for 6 years, he sat on the floor of his house in Hollis, Queens, while seamstresses were typing away for the FUBU brand. More than what? 60 rejections from banks and financial institutions? You going to quit? Oh my God, there were 6 individuals who got the idea for Essence Magazine. 6 of them, they called themselves the Hollingsworth Group. And sure, here they were going to develop a magazine, and it was going to be the first of its type, and it was going to be focused on black women. And don't you know the title of the magazine? You don't even know what they were going to call it, the first draft. You ready for this, ladies? They were going to call it Sapphire. Until they held a focus group, and them sisters said, you ain't hardly calling this Sapphire. Baby, we a little bit too regal for Sapphire. And they changed it to Essence. But what's the bottom line? There were 6 of them. And surely they were going to be banked like Hank. And surely they were all going to be millionaires. Until it came time for them to cut loose those cushy jobs. Only 2 good